Next, we are going to move to testimony on a couple of different bills. So please note that oral testimony is limited to 3 minutes germane to the bills at hand. We're going to do testimony on Senate Bill 82, which is by Senator Chang in regards to the Judicial Protection Act.
This is a reintroduction of what was Senate Bill 871 and House Bill 5724 from last term. I do want to note Senator Chang's appreciation for Rep. Leitner and her work on this issue and the productive partnership between our offices. She also wants to thank Rep. Kelly Breen for her partnership and hard work on the Judicial Protection Act too. So this legislation was developed in collaboration with the work group of state and federal judges, as well as the State Bar of Michigan, to address the deeply concerning uptick in threats against judges by protecting their personal identifying information from disclosure. I did want to note that along the way, this language was sharpened and made more functional by incorporating feedback from several groups like the County Registers of Deeds, some internet data groups, and real estate websites like Zillow. At some point, I think most of you have heard testimony from U.S. District Judge Esther Salas and also from Michigan Court of Appeals Judge Brock Swartzel on this bill. It is now going to be tie-barred to Rep. Leitner's Elected Official Protection Act. So we think passing the JPA and Rep. Leitner's bill are going to be critical during this challenging time.
I'm going to go ahead and read in some cards in regards to Senate Bill 82. Supports the bill Monica Martinez of the Michigan Judges Association. Supports the bill Trevor Van Dyke of the State Court Administrative Offices. Supports the bill Nathan Triplett of the State Bar of Michigan. I have a card. Jody White wishes to speak, is opposed to the bill, and is from VIP's Victim in Probate. Jody, would you please come to the table?
Why shield judges while probate courts destroy families? Why is Michigan rushing to Senate Bill 82, the so-called Judiciary Protection Act, modeled after a federal act sparked by one of a 2020 attack on a judge's family by a disgruntled attorney? Meanwhile, our probate families and their attorney allies are ravaging dozens of Michigan families. No federal tragedy required. No laws shield our loved ones from elder abuse, stolen legacies, or shattered lives. Equal protection under the law is the bedrock of our civil society, enshrined in the 14th Amendment. It demands that no one, not judges, not the powerful, stand above accountability. Yet here we are debating Senate Bill 82, which lets any judge, state, federal, tribunal, demand public bodies and private citizens remove their home addresses, phone numbers, license plates, even children's school routes within 5 business days or face lawsuits. This isn't safety, it's secrecy. It's a shield for judges' privacy, including hiding assets and addresses, risking cover-up of conflicts like hidden trust wealth, while victims beg for transparency. Judges already have security. We need accountability. Legislators, please serve the people. Mandate timely jury trials, expose elder abuse and probate, uphold equal protection, not this elite exemptions. Victims are increasing in probate because of the judges and the attorneys. They twist guardianships, enable corruption, and jail family members. Dozens of families are gutted in the last decade. Their homes are seized. Savings vanished. Rights are crushed. Loved ones are isolated.
Jody, I asked you to speak to the bill. This is not to the bill. We are not talking guardianship right now. We are talking protection of judges.
We're protecting the judges and not the people. So, okay, then how about legislators reject it? Instead of crafting laws to protect the judiciary, state actors, work for the people in 2025. Demand transparency, deliver justice, and restore trust. The Michigan families deserve better.
Everything Jody just said on top of, you guys are grandparents, parents, when people intentionally are not being transparent that they're hiding something. The dynamic of judges being possibly targeted, but that's been a dynamic since the inception of courts. We're not gonna buy that right now. We can't allow them to play in y'all face, and that's basically what they're doing. The judges are basically stealing people's estate. They stole my aunt's estate, my Aunt Bobby Moore. She was a court. She worked for the courts. Murkowski looked her right in the eye, called her a friend, called her a colleague, while stealing her house. Her house is right now for sale, private sale.
Sir, can you speak to the actual bill itself, please?
Well, this is the bill. The bill is privatizing for judges. My aunt's house is being privately sold right now by the probate court in Kent County. So this is exactly what that bill is doing. And if
This bill just protects their addresses, so people can't find them as easily. That is what this bill basically does.
okay, so why? So then why the private?
So the guardianship
why
stuff.
the privatization then? Why the secrecy? I mean, this is all. It all is correlation. It's just like Jody was saying. It all correlates. If they're trying to hide behind something, they're going to hide more than just their addresses. They're going to hide more than just their numbers. They're going to start hiding other things, and it started
Okay, well,
already.
you know, sir, I
Our
warned you
3 minutes
about
is
what
not
this
up
is.
either.
This is about addresses, Judicial Protection Act. This is to make it so it's not as easy to track down judges and/or, well, as you'll hear in the next bill, other elected officials. So, sir, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and take your seat, and we're going to move on to the next person. Thank you.
I can't finish?
You can submit testimony.
You let Jody
written.
finish. Can I finish?
You have 55 seconds.
Okay, to the rest of the legislators, could you guys please stop allowing these judges to play in your face? Could you please stop allowing them this privacy, this secrecy, this kind of elite type of a position that allows them not to fall under the regular jurisdiction of normal laws for normal people, and stop allowing them to steal our state. They've been doing it since the beginning of America.
This bill, Senate Bill 82 here, has been, you can go through this and analyze this. And American Civil Liberties Union of Michigan, the Reporters Committee of Freedom of the Press, and the Mackinac Center for Public Policy argue it convenes the Michigan Constitution. As you know, as public functionaries, you all swore an oath to the United States Constitution and to the state of Michigan Constitution. Yet here we are today trying to pass a bill that's unconstitutional. It's very easy today to take and analyze these bills and go through these things, and all of you should learn how to do this if you haven't so far. Under Michigan Constitution, Article 6, Section 9 requires circuit court records to be open to the public inspection, and Section 10 applies this to district courts, mandating transparency to foster public trust in judiciary. Senate Bill 82's compelling redactions of judges' personal details in the court documents could obscure critical context in cases involving judicial ethics, conflicts, or misconduct. And we all know our court systems now are ripe with misconduct. And here today, what we need to be focusing on is the impeachment of these judges across the state of Michigan. This is a waste of your time to be operating on this bill here by the Michigan Bar Association, trying to protect their membership, and the Judges Association. So these people have all banded together to defraud you and the public. And this is my opinion, but I think the state of Michigan and all the residents of the state of Michigan will agree. We're taking our state back, okay? So here today, we need to have this state turn into, we're going to make Michigan great again. And by getting rid of this bill and making these judges who are earning $187,000 and up a year do their job legally, okay? And what they're doing here, because the Michigan Constitution said they had to be licensed, and yet the Supreme Court has said a bar card is a license, which it's not. And these sit on the bench as 3 bar card members against the public, defrauding the people across the state of Michigan. And we're tired of it. We're sick of this, and you guys should be sick of this too. And you should shut this bill down immediately. And we can go on and on and on here with this nonsense that the Michigan Bar Association brought in front of you. Article 1, Section 5 of the United States Constitution guarantees every person the right to freely communicate thoughts and opinions with explicit protections for truthful speech about public officials, including judges. Criminalizing the transfer of public information.
Tom, you are out of time. If you would like to submit your testimony, you can email it to the clerk, or you can write it as well. And we're going to move on to the next person because we have some judges on Zoom as well.
All of you need to learn how to know what's constitutional and what's unconstitutional.
Thank you, sir.
So
all right.
Please vote no on this.
Yes, my name is Peter Phillips, and I'm proud to be a nearly 65-year-old man with no criminal history and a track record of over 30 years of volunteerism in my community. I ask you in advance to please treat me with the proper courtesy and respect and refrain from continually interrupting me while I attempt to enter my comments on record. If that happens, I will reclaim my time. These 2 Senate bills 52 and 4397 was prompted by the Daniel Andral Judicial Security Act, and I offer my condolences to his family. In the event those who are not familiar with what happened, 48 Hours did a segment entitled The Delivery Man Murders. And in a nutshell, a disgruntled lawyer, repeat, a lawyer, drove across country to California, disguised himself as a delivery man, and murdered a fellow attorney, and then drove to New Jersey, where this time the same disgruntled attorney attempted to kill another fellow bar member who happened to be a judge, but ended up killing her son and shot her husband. However, please note that critics of this bill have accurately stated that Congress can protect the safety of judges without censoring and banning truthful speech. Securing the safety of the judiciary is a worthy goal, but it's one that can and should be achieved without infringing on First Amendment, constitutional, civil, and human basic rights. It's been observed that using power to not allow free speech and stymie all opposing voices is a hallmark of fascism. My endeavor and desire are to see much needed reforms made to the courts in Michigan through legislation, because the Michigan judiciary, as has been consistently pointed out by everyone who spoke before me, they're currently allowed to operate with no checks and balances in place. The Judicial Tenure Commission is well known to be a useless sham of an organization, and even appears to operate with a racist bent, that they were forced by the Michigan Supreme Court to be audited for this reason. This committee seems beyond obsessed with this bill, and as it's been on the floor for well over a year. But why isn't there any legislation being introduced to protect innocent civilians from the documented and widespread systemic cases regarding the antics of these black robe disease judges that sit on Michigan's benches?
My name is Cynthia Mifsud, and I'm here as the daughter of an elderly mother whose estate was drawn into years of abuse and exploitation through the probate system. I fully support the intention of SB 82 to protect the safety of Michigan judges and their families. Judges have a right to be safe in their homes and to shield their primary residence from public posting. However, this bill as written goes far beyond protecting a family. It allows judges to hide all property addresses, including investment or commercial holdings, that creates a dangerous loophole. Over the last 4 years, I've witnessed firsthand how real estate belonging to elderly and vulnerable people is sold undervalued to attorneys, realtors, and sometimes those with judicial ties. These transactions often happen quietly, without scrutiny, and without the heir's knowledge. When judicial officers can also hide their investment properties from public view, the public loses any ability to detect conflicts of interest or patterns of profiteering tied to vulnerable persons' estate. It is perfectly reasonable for a judge's primary residence to be protected from disclosure. But when it comes to investment properties, rental homes, or any real estate held through LLCs or trust, privacy becomes secrecy, and secrecy erodes trust. Judges hold extraordinary power over family property and liberty. With that power comes a heightened duty of transparency, especially in probate and guardianship matters where the elderly or disabled have no voice. SB 82 seeks to protect judges and their families by restricting access to personal identifying information. While personal safety protections are appropriate, the bill as written could unintentionally conceal judicial misconduct and further victimize families who are already struggling to obtain accountability in Michigan's probate courts. Privacy, the secrecy, is where there's problems, and we want transparency. We deserve transparency.
Next, we have
Great job. Spoke on the same thing I did. She cut me off though.
It's the same story.
next on Zoom, we have Judge.
They won't cut him off, watch. Well, we'll see how long he gets to speak.
The substitute basically creates the Elected Officials Protection Act, designed to protect the personal information and physical custody of public officials, their families, and household members. This sub will cover elected members of the Michigan House and Michigan Senate, the governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general, secretary of state, and persons elected in Michigan to serve in the United States House and Senate, in addition to former governors.
I just wanted to make the comment to those who have spoken up. This bill in no way invalidates your concerns for injustice done to you and your families in all sorts of measures. It does not invalidate the fact that we need to look at many other areas of the law and deal with the injustices, and we hear you. It's not exactly what this bill is about, so that's why there's a separation there, but we hear you, and we will work on these things.
You violated your oath of office by passing.
I need to make a clarification, so this is on the record. And to the folks that testified, we've been through the ringer on a lot of these issues, and we do have guardianship reform bills that have been dropped. But regarding your complaints, and I do feel for you, and I know what has happened to your families and your parents has been horrific. There are requirements that judges are supposed to file, and they have to abide by, particularly the judicial canons and the codes of judicial misconduct. But I remember asking this question last year. If you want to hold judges accountable, you can do it at the ballot box. You can do it in many other ways, but you don't need to know where their spouse works or where their children go to school in order to hold them accountable. These threats are real, and not just against judges, but against elected officials. My life's been threatened. My daughter's life has been threatened. Judges' lives have been threatened. This isn't about hiding them from their actions. But this has to do with protecting their families as well. That is so.
The committee
That's what
will
I
come to
needed to
order.
make that
Audience,
clarification
please,
for.
Please, just a moment. Go ahead,
Thank you,
Kelly.
Madam. Yes. Again, I would encourage you, if you have problems with disclosure and holding judges accountable, to look at those pieces of legislation and laws that we have out there. Right now, the threats are real, and there are ways, I believe, to address the problems that you've been facing that don't have anything to do with this bill, which is designed to keep people from being harmed and assaulted and killed. Thank you.
Thank you. We are going to move on to report. This will come to order. Members, please. We are trying to conduct this meeting. You can talk with her offline. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll talk to you offline. Thank you. But we want him impeached, and you guys can do that.